All right, so for those of you who do not know, I spent 8 years on a vegan diet, a whole food, plant-based, high carb, low fat diet. Previous to that, I had severe dermatitis, eczema, psoriasis, rosacea, all sorts of medical issues and skin disease, and I was falling apart. I used the high carb, low fat vegan diet, which many people at that time were telling me was extreme and crazy and never gonna work, to heal my skin. And I've been cured of all of those diseases for almost 7 years now. About a year and a half, 2 years ago, my vegan diet started failing me. I started having some big deficiencies and having some issues with it. So I made a switch, I made an adjustment, and I went to a keto approach. Slowly that keto approach is turning into more of a carnivore approach. But again, many people have said, wow, Rob, that's extreme. Why do you need to go to such extremes? And the question comes up, why not try a balanced approach? Why not take the best of whole food plant-based and the best of keto and the best of all the diets and mush them together into a balanced diet where your fats are about the same as your carbohydrates and your protein is just where you need it to be? Do balanced diets work? And why have I never tried a balanced diet to heal my skin, and why I never use a balanced diet to help my clients who have skin disease as well? Stay tuned, I'm going to cover this subject in today's video. Okay, so let's create some context before we start the conversation. What I mean by a balanced diet, and the question is fats and carbohydrates about the same, so about the same amount in the diet at the same time. If you look at the standard American diet, or if you look at the diet that most people are on, the carbohydrates and the fats tend to be about the same. And when we look at people who have the most disease, who are struggling with their health the most, well, who are those people? It's people eating the standard American diet. It's people eating balanced diets. Now, why do balanced diets not work? What's the key reason? Well, first of all, you have to understand that sugars and fats just do not play well together. They do not really do well in the body together. For you scientists out there, you might want to skip ahead because I'm going to give some very kindergarten, super basic, just the most plain and simple anatomy/biology example of why sugars and fats don't work well together. So if you're a scientist, skip forward. I'm going to keep this really ultra simple. But anyway, when you eat sugar and it goes into your body, it wants to go into the cells to give the cells glucose to provide for them energy and nutrients. So it goes through the cell wall, goes into the cells, and the cells do their thing with the sugar. When you add too much fat to that sugar, the sugar gets stuck in the cell wall. While stuck in the cell wall, all the major issues of the body start to happen because the body doesn't want that. It wants a gentle process. It doesn't want it to be stuck. It starts to freak out, and what happens? Inflammation happens because the body needs to send some help to that area. Candida gets sent there. Eczema, dermatitis happen. Fungal and bacterial things, parasites come. The body's defense mechanism is to attack that with inflammation and all those things I just talked about. Well, the result of that long term is disease, cancer, diabetes, eczema, psoriasis. Sugar and fat do not work well together. They actually hate each other. They're arch enemies, and they never have ever gone on a date before. Well, they did, but it ended really bad. Another thing is why so many people gravitate towards this balanced diet approach is because we have huge addiction problems to food in this country. The fast food industry, the restaurant industry, the people who create recipes know how the brain works and knows how the evolutionary process in our body that wants as much calories as it possibly can get, because that's the most important thing for survival is calories, that high fat and high sugar together will work awesome. So all the high fat, high sugar junk food you've eaten throughout your life has imprinted on your brain and imprinted on your palate, and that's what you crave. So some people will have the misconception that what you crave, you should eat, and it's not really that. You have to learn the signals and why the signals are the way they are. So when you go to a restaurant or when you go to fast food, they are on purpose putting a ton of sugar, a ton of fat, and a ton of salt into that food, which makes it as addictive as heroin, sex, alcohol, and violent video games. It does something to the brain and makes us want that all the time. It doesn't mean we should go for a balanced diet, and it doesn't mean that the balanced diet will work. And so the question is, what if you're to take the best of all the healing diets? You take the best of keto and you take the best of vegan, and you put them together. Well, that's a great idea, and in common sense, you'd think that would probably work, but the issue is that looks like the standard American diet with healthy choices. Your macros will end up being the same as a standard American diet, or a diet that most people are on. Too much fat and too much sugar, even if they're from good sources, are still gonna really mess you up and really negatively affect your eczema and dermatitis the most. So we just ended our group coaching course, and one of the awesome participants in that went through this very thing. He worked with me a long time ago, and he got to a place where his skin was doing really well. And then he started kind of like suffering a little bit, like it kind of took a downswing. He had some lifestyle stuff that he was kind of getting a little wild on. He was not doing his cleansing. But then he, in his own mind, said, you know what, I think a balanced diet approach will be the best bet. So he started eating a little bit of fish, lots of fruit, and it was just all whole foods, but it was very balanced. His eczema exploded on his body worse than it had ever been in his entire life. Because what had happened is he built up all of this momentum before cleansing and detoxing the correct way. And then his body was in a sensitive spot, kind of having a flare up. Immune system was a little out of whack. Digestion was a little out of whack. And then he pounded it with sugar and fats, and all hell broke loose. The way that we got him out of that situation is we returned him to the diet that works best for him, and that's a high carb, low fat vegan. So we put him back on that. We got his fats at 20% and under. We kept him there, and lo and behold, gave it some time, stayed consistent with the cleansing and the diet, and things started to improve once again. And this happens every single time on a balanced diet. Not once in the history of me working with people, and I've worked with over 800 people over the past 6 years, not once has one of my clients succeeded on a balanced diet. Now, I know some of you guys are going to ask the question, well, isn't like high carb, low fat, plus a little bit of fish and a little bit of eggs, pastured eggs, a balanced diet? Well, no, it's a low fat diet because you're keeping the fat under 20%. So why do the extreme diets work then? Why does keto and carnivore work to heal people? And why does a high carb, low fat vegan system work to heal people at the same time? Well, when you remove one of the major elements, one of the major macronutrients, it forces your body to use specific systems to have energy, to create hormones, and to detox and flush its body. When you do ketosis or a carnivore, your body shifts to running on ketones, and there's no sugar or carbohydrates in the body. And it allows the body to be in a fasting mimicking diet, which means it's allowed to stay in the process of autophagy, cleansing and detoxing and going into the organs and flushing things out, all while getting all the nutrients that you need to provide brain health and healthy hormones and just be a vibrant, healthy person. On the other hand, the high carb, low fat system works well because it uses sugar and carbohydrates to flush the body and to flush the lymphatic system without any of the fats kind of slowing things down or sticking to the carbohydrates and not allowing them to go through the cell membrane. That style diet works great for flushing and detoxification. Now, long term, you have to make up your own mind what diet will work best for you. What I suggest is going through all three phases. And what I mean by that is there's 3 phases of skin disease reversal. I like to start most of my clients using a vegan approach. And what it's been looking like lately is a higher portion of my clients gravitate after the testing phase to a keto and carnivore approach. It seems to work really great. There are some people though that like the high carb, low fat vegan system and it works really well for them. So they stay on that. There's simple adjustments on either diet that can be made long term if they're not working to work better for you. As I was mentioning before, our last group class just finished and the dude that was having kind of the issues, I think we got things all settled for him and moving forward. Our next group class starts January 15th. If you'd like to sign up for that, you can go over to holistichealthactivation.com and hit the group coaching tab. Early bird special is up right now. One thing that I kind of like to play with is what words mean and why they mean what they mean. And to me, I don't look at the carnivore-ish diet that I'm on as extreme. I look at it as a balanced diet. And why is it a balanced diet? Because I get a balanced, wide variety of nutrients. All the nutrients that I need to be a powerful, strong, healthy human are provided for me in a very balanced and easily digestible manner. To me, that's not extreme at all. I think that because we've become so warped and we've become just so like twisted with the food that we eat, most people don't even really understand what balanced means. Think about it this way. In nature, it is extremely hard to find food sources that have both high fat and high carbohydrates. Let's say you're in the wild and you find an animal and you kill that animal. It's mostly protein and fat. Now, if you find vegetables and tubers and fruits, what are those? Mostly carbs. You don't find fruit that's high in carbs and high in fat. It's either high in fat or high in sugar. Same thing with animal parts. They're all high fat and high protein. There's not high carb animals. Check out nature. Nature, like I said before, never provides food that has high carbs and high fat. Look at the results of all crazy amount of clients I've worked with over the past 6 years. None of them have done well on a balanced amount of fat and sugar in their diet. It simply just does not work. So to answer the question of why not have a balanced diet, there you go. Leave all of your comments and questions down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. If this video makes sense to you, do you have any weird dietary needs? Do you have any questions about that? Just throw them down below. Like I said, the group community coaching course starts January 15th. You can head over to holistichealthactivation.com to sign up for that. If you're serious about getting your skin healthy and you're at that point where you're ready to do whatever it takes to have success, and you're looking for a mentor, if you're looking to get a hold of me to become one of my private clients and you're serious, because I'm only saying this often in these videos now because I have been turning down a lot of new clients because I just don't feel that they're ready and they're serious. I want to work with people who are serious and who are going to do all the work, who are going to do everything that is need to be done. We're going to work our butts off. If that's you and you're ready to get your healthy skin, click that link in the description box for a consultation with me. I'd be more than happy to help you. If you're new to this channel, remember to subscribe and share and give it a like if it liked you. No, if you liked it. And if you're old to this channel, remember hit the notification bell as well. Much love, you guys. I'll be back with many more videos really soon. I forgot to tell you though that I'm on Instagram as well, putting up a lot of content, and there you can find me at Rob Stuart. In real life, I'm just Rob Stuart. All right, I'm out.